Hey guys, welcome to Blissful Bee, and today I'm going to be showing you how I went about making Pidge from Voltron Legendary Defender. To start, I have to mention that this repaint will be different than my future ones because I lost all of my face and hair video before I finished editing. But that's okay. The doll I decided to use was Lizzie Hearts from Ever After High. I chose to use her mostly because she had that shorter body type I was looking for Pidge, and she had a skin tone that relatively matched what I wanted. So as you can obviously tell, her hair and Pidge's hair look nothing alike. So the first thing you need to do is snip it off. Now that she and a certain singer from 2007 look like twins, the first thing you're going to want to do is get the rest of the plugs out. Doing that, you'll take off the head by putting it in boiling water and waiting until the plastic softens so that you can pull it off easily. The point of this is so that you don't damage the neck peg once you're trying to pull her head off. So once you finally get the head off, the next thing you'll want to do is go in through the neck hole and using a pair of needle nose pliers, try to scrape and pull all of the plugs out so it comes out clean. And now for the most important part, removing the factory paint. As you can see, Lizzie has a lot of it, but that won't be a problem. What you're going to need are Q-tips, cotton pads, and pure acetone. I just got this from a local beauty store and it was only around $5 if that. Using Q-tips in a scooping motion, try to get as much of the factory paint off as possible. You can also use this in the small crevices like the lips and any other parts of the eyes that you can't really reach. I also decided to take the paint off of the head just in case. Now that the factory paint is gone and I've given her a wash in nice warm soapy water, I'll explain the face up. So the first thing I did was sketch in general shapes as shown by the red. Now Pidge, regardless of the fact of being the youngest Paladin, has a slight wing to her eyes, so I decided to keep true to that. The next thing I did was start to build up the whites of the eyes using slightly watered down acrylic paint. After that, I blocked in the color for the iris and put in any shadow or highlight details where I felt necessary. I then moved on to the eyeliner and pupils, and I even decided to give Pidge a few bottom lashes, which I'm really glad that I did. To finish up, I added the eye shines, the eyebrows, and a little bit of green inside of the pupils for detail. With all that done, I added a few areas of blush to make her feel a little bit more alive. Now onto the hair. If you guys would like a better understanding of how I did all of this, I would suggest checking out Mozekido's channel in the description. I started first with the front middle bang, the two smaller side parts, and then finally with the larger parts on the sides. After cutting, I used a little bit of water and hot glue in order to keep the style. The back of the hair is a little harder for me to explain, so I definitely suggest checking out Mozekido's channel. However, generally, I put wefts in these sorts of areas and pulled them all back. I cut the hair only a little bit longer than what I wanted, and after styling, I trimmed it to exact. I put a rubber band on in this general area and then used water to style the bottom. To make the glasses, I used a thin wire that I just bent into shape and then just glued all the pieces together. Covered everything in hot glue in order to keep everything secured. I put Mod Podge and paint all over. The black fabric that I decided to use was actually the same that I used for my own bodysuit. I sewed this at first, but would soon realize that a sewn bodysuit on a small doll would not work out so well. If or when I decide to make an updated Paladin armor video, I'll be sure to link it below. Even though a full sewn suit wouldn't work, I still decided to sew the neck and shoulders. To make patterns for the armor, I would just measure, mark, cut, and roll pieces of paper around the doll to make sure that everything would fit. eventually you'll get pieces that just look like this. I did the same thing for the shoulder piece, and it would just end up looking like some sort of odd bonnet. And the same sort of general marking goes exactly the same for the chest piece. Once all of the general pieces were cut out, I would start to tape things onto the doll so that I could mark and cut where I would need things to be. And here you can see the differences. The front and back parts of the chest piece are almost exactly the same, save for the little bit of the collar in the front. Pieces now cut, it was time to trace these onto foam. I then started heating the pieces in order to make them easier to form around the doll's body. If you guys are going to use a candle, please be careful. You can also use a heat gun, which probably would have been easier and safer, but I decided to use a candle since it's such a small area. Doing this just makes it a lot easier for the armor parts to hold their shape. Pieces are molded. I realized that I actually forgot to record me putting on the collar piece, so I'll just say it now. It was pretty easy, and it's just a general shape that has a little lip on the back. See? It's just flat on top with a little bit of a lip at the bottom. Now it's finally time to paint on all of the details. The foam that I used was already white, so I didn't really need to worry about that, but if you are going to use foam that's a different color, you would need to Mod Podge and then paint white over top of it. I didn't record it, but after everything was all painted, I took it outside to spray with sealant. Now it was finally time to attach everything. I never planned for the Paladin armor to be removable, so I just hot glued everything directly onto the body. This is when I realized that a sewn bodysuit would make all of the armor look like it was too raised, so I just started hot gluing all of the pieces onto the body directly. With all of the armor attached, a change of hands, and Pidge's head finally popped back on, the doll was complete. I was absolutely so happy with how the doll came out. For my second set of Voltron armor and my first set of doll armor, I think it turned out pretty well. This doll was created as a gift for one of my favorite Pidge cosplayers, Kitsune over on Instagram, so I think you should definitely go check her out. If you like Voltron or just like doll customizing, please like this video and subscribe for more in the future. See you next time!